Hello beautiful people and welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to talk about Kanye West's manic episode that he's currently in the middle of right now. He's been posting a lot of crazy things on Instagram back to back to back to back to back, basically condemning anybody who has ever spoken with or worked with or met Pete Davidson. Public cries for Kim back, which I'm like really wondering how Julia Fox is dealing with that. I mean, on Call Her Daddy, she basically was like, I'm not jealous. I understand there's still feelings there. But he's literally on social media posting pictures of Kim, posting pictures of his family and saying, you know, I have faith. God will bring us back together. I have no beef with Kim. It's comedic and also tragic. Right? And that's kind of what I wanted to talk about because yes, Kanye is doing all of these crazy things and they do incite a bit of comedy in the way that he does them because it's like he has a notepad in front of his chest saying, you know, my account hasn't been hacked. It almost seems like performance art. It's very like, wow, you wrote down on a notepad, you know, anyone who's in contact with you know who. And it's like speaking about Pete Davidson like he's Voldemort and literally writing things out on a notepad. It's like, it's so strange. You know, I think his name is Michael Che, somebody who's a co-host. I don't watch SNL, but apparently this person co-hosts Pete on SNL. And Kanye said something like, if you stop working with him, like to Michael Che about Pete, if you stop working with him, I'll pay you double your salary or something. And then Michael Che, I clicked on this person. I've never heard of him before. His only post is several slides of like a notepad message. And this is what I'm saying, like there is obviously comedy in this because of the way it's being done. Like he literally was like, I will never leave Pete for anything less than triple my salary. And you have to write a song for my band. And you have to give me a pair of shoes. What else? Like, it was funny. It was funny. And I can recognize that there's humor in this situation, but what I fear and what I've seen, especially once he came after Billy, I think that's when the white women were like really banding together with their pitchforks, especially those who still are butthurt about what happened with Taylor Swift. And they band together and literally I've been seeing so many TikToks of white women vilifying Kanye West. And I saw this one TikTok and she said, I am Kanye West hater first, human being second. And I literally was like, do y'all not understand the history of white women publicly vilifying black men? Do you not understand how often that has led to murder? I'm not saying this is going to lead to murder. I'm just saying I think white women don't understand the way their words affect things sometimes. And it's like, I just know that white women kind of banding together and being like, we hate Kanye West. First of all, comes from a place of having no context or understanding of the issues with mental health in the black community and how they do not get dealt with, specifically for black men. And me as someone, I've known a lot of people with mental health issues, myself included, but I have known a significant amount of black men who have some decent mental health struggles, and I have seen the way that that's affected them. And so me understanding the ways in which the black community, specifically in America, doesn't get support for their mental health, specifically black men, I have an understand. Also, like, Kanye reminds me a lot of my father. Me and my siblings are pretty sure my father has some sort of mental health struggles going on and very likely bipolar. So as somebody who has an understanding of that, the way white women are talking about it as if he is just, you know, let's vilify him, let's come at him with pitchforks, let's destroy him, absolutely not the energy that's necessary. What is that doing? That's doing absolutely nothing because he's in the middle of a manic episode. He's not in control of himself, A. B, the stereotypes about black men are bad enough. We don't need white women using someone in a vulnerable state in the middle of a manic episode as another way to vilify black men. That's not something that's neat. We have enough of that. We have enough of that. Third of all, if anybody is going to speak about this conversation in a way that involves any sort of critique or critical thinking, it needs to be a Black person. It cannot be a white woman. It cannot be a white woman who is leading this conversation about Kanye West and his mental health issues, because they always are missing the nuance of the context, right? And so for me, when I'm seeing Kanye flip out like this, I think of my father. I do think of my father. And I think of like how somebody can be a creative genius and still have a lot of things that they're struggling with in their head. And in Kanye's position, I think he's probably got a lot of yes men around him, and he's kind of positioned himself to be maybe a little bit, like maybe the people around him treat him as though he is, you know, still very much in control. And unfortunately he isn't, right? Somebody needs to take his phone and somebody needs to get him some serious help, right? He shouldn't have access to the media in the way that he does. But it makes me very sad, because that means there's no one who like really, really cares about him enough to take care of him around him, which is serious, and that is sad. And I think like we've seen Kim have empathy for him and his bipolar disorder before in the past, and the way she like will post things on Instagram explaining him and blah, blah, blah. And like she might have been the only one who gave a shit. You know what I'm saying? Like she might have been the only one who kind of was trying to deal with him in a delicate way, or in a way that would still maybe get him help. That being said, I don't know. He is a rich person, so I think the position he's gotten himself into is just a position where everybody around him he pays and they do what he says, right? So there's probably not really someone around him who can pluck him out of the situation, take him somewhere else, and get him the help he needs right now. But that's what is necessary, right? What is not necessary is white women vilifying him on the internet. You're not only doing nothing except for bad things, you are further harming the stereotype of Black men with mental illness / Black men, period. So STFU. STFU, just listen to the Black people who are going to talk about mental health as Kanye has his manic episode. Sit back and hush. Because if I was, and I think this is why I felt, maybe this is part of why I felt so strongly about this, is because if I was Northwest, if Northwest was older, right? And if I was Northwest and Kanye is doing this behavior, and I understand that he is struggling mentally, and yes, what his actions do to me, they do affect me. But that doesn't mean that I don't have empathy for him and I don't still love him. And it doesn't mean that I want white women on the internet to go and vilify my dad for something he never even did to them. Do you know what I'm saying? If anything, that would be my place. So for these white women who have no understanding, no context of the barriers to mental health that Black men face, to be on the internet being the first one to tear him down and criticize him just because he said something about some of your favorite white blonde women, STFU. And I'm not saying that his actions are excused. I'm really not. I'm just saying his mental health he's in the middle of a manic episode. He's not in the place to stabilize himself or take accountability. That's what comes after stabilization. Accountability comes after being stable. So he would first need to be stable. And that's not going to happen by people vilifying him on the internet. Like, it's just like, do you think you're helping? You're not. You're not. What would really be useful? And these are the women that I've never once seen talk about mental health in the Black community. Never once. Never once. So this is not your place. No. And like I said, even though there is a lot of comedy in this scenario, it's not really funny. Like, yeah, the things he's posting are funny, but his scenario is very sad and tragic. And I just want people to remember what happened to, obviously it's not the same in the sense of Britney Spears wasn't like, she was going a little crazy at the time. I was pretty young, but I don't remember what she did, but she wasn't like slandering people in the media. Also, like, I don't know if Instagram even existed back then for her to do something like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, Kanye has a lot of access to public forums to speak, and that's not going to his benefit. But I just want people to remember what happened to Britney Spears when people treated her mental health like a joke. I just want people to remember that. And I just want people to remember that they promised not to do that anymore. All of a sudden when it's a black man, oh, we forget. We forget our values because it doesn't count. It's Kanye West. Unpack that. That's what I have to leave you with. Unpack that. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Share this video with your friends. Check out my podcast. I will link it down below. Check out my Patreon. I post a bunch of short essays on there, as well as extra content. And yeah, follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Kira Bria, and I will talk to you next time. Bye.